guess as I'm waiting for my food to cool down a little bit, thought I'd do another thought process. This one is based off of a Facebook status I saw recently. So one of my Facebook friends, there I'm gonna leave him all nameless and whatnot. One of my Facebook friends said he was gonna write a blog, and he was like, "What are some things that women wish men knew?" You just threw it out, any of the ladies, or actually, to be deadly serious, you just threw it out. You didn't necessarily say that any guy or girl can't comment on it. And the normal things that you would expect would be there. I wish men would listen. I wish men would show their emotion. We don't want you to solve all of our problems, that type of thing. And, I'm reading through this, and a lot of them I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, I understand that. That makes sense. Some of them I'm sitting there and I'm just like, but it's actually, in particular, this one comment. It was actually the last comment on the entire thing. And that's the one that caught my eye and caught my attention. And it was a lady that said it, and she was like, wow, I feel the pain of the ladies and the guys. And just like that alone, I was sitting there and I'm like, what do you mean you feel the pain of the ladies and the guys? You're only one of the two. How can you feel both? And I'm paraphrasing this part here, but she goes on and she's kind of like, yo, is it possible that some of you girls are expecting things of your guys that you really shouldn't be expecting of your guys? These are the things that your girls are supposed to help you with, that are supposed to do for you, rather than your guys. And she didn't give any examples. It wasn't that long of a little paragraph. But my immediate thought is one of the things oh, sorry, no. She went a little bit further. And she was like, not to mention some of these qualities that you're quote unquote looking for is the same thing that you're going to berate your man for later. And then she gave an example of that. And it was like a guy that is a good listener is an amazing thing that you'd want. But then further on, later down the lane, you get mad at him because he didn't take action on one of your problems. And I'm like, that's kind of what I was thinking. There's because that's like I said, I was having emotions as I was going down the list. And one of the things is, be a good listener. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, you got to tell us what you want at that time. If it's this big of an issue, you gotta let a brother know what you want. You got to let him know, because you're very right. Sometimes y'all just want us to listen. And then there's other times where you actually want us to solve your problem. But if we don't know the two, then, we're going to guess. Most of the times we'll guess by solving the problem, because once the problem's there, your emotions are gone. You don't have to worry about it. So that makes sense to many a person. So I was just there. I was just relaxing. I was just reading it. And that last part just really got me. And I was like, yo, what? Oh, sorry. There's one other thing that she wrote at the very, very bottom. She's like, what are you trying to do to your men? Are you not feminizing your men in some way? Show more emotion, be an amazing listener. To the sense that, you have your girls for that, quote unquote. Right? And I was sitting here and I was like, yo, that's a toughie. Is that what's happening? I gotta stop saying, is that what's happening there? This wasn't an issue so much. I'll probably say it was still probably an issue, but it wasn't an issue so much for women in the past. I haven't come across anyway, of women going, it just doesn't show enough emotion. This is a problem. I can't deal with this because there's not enough emotion showing. Or even also in third world countries, or this is something I keep coming back to, is arranged marriages. this whole he doesn't show emotion thing isn't a problem, right? And I thought about that a while. I'm like, why is that? I haven't necessarily gotten an answer, but it is something to think about, that like this whole he doesn't listen is not, it's not this, it's not even like being irresponsible. I can understand, you can't just be going around being crazy on a motorbike, living as if you're by yourself anymore, because you got a responsibility now. But it's where like you'll have a guy that wants to come up and take responsibility, and yet he's told that you got to do other things, you got to do more, like you can't just sit here and try and solve my problems. And, it doesn't really make sense to me. And so I'm like, so are we just trying to feminize men at that point? And I'm not sure, especially because I'm still a young man, I'm still growing, I'm like 25, right? I'm still growing, I'm still getting it. But one of the things that I haven't gotten a concrete version of is, what is a man compared to a boy? For that reason, I almost will never call myself a man. Like I will not be like, I am a man, all right? Like I am a man. I'm over 18, I'm a man. I almost never say that. I might jokingly be like, I'm not a boy anymore, but I won't sit here and say, I'm a man, because I know that there's a lot of things that have to come with that. And B, which is most important, I'm not even sure exactly what comes with that. And it's not to say that, my dad didn't do a good job of raising me. It's just from what I'm seeing in this world, being a man, not in the sense of a person, but being a man in its entirety, has to do with responsibility. And that is a very, very complex subject that I haven't figured it all out yet. Which is also one of the reasons why I'm single right now. I'm not even bothering with women, just because I'm not ready to take the responsibility of having someone walk into a wall behind me. Right? That is like a fear of mine. Like I'm okay, messing myself up and, walking into a wall. I'm not okay with dragging somebody into a wall behind me. I don't roll that well with that. But going back onto the topic of feminizing men, if a man isn't supposed to, if that would be feminizing man, then what is it supposed to be? There was another video that I had watched, and it was saying that masculinity is dying. And the reason why masculinity is dying is because the things that men best excelled at, not just a couple of men, but all men, as in like the entire sex, excels at, has been slowly being edged out. And one of those things was war, was combat, was physicality. You have tons. The gym is full of males. Yeah, you get the whole like female only gyms, but like the generic stereotype is that males in the gym. And guys are good at it. We're good at lifting. We're really good at being athletic. But we don't really have anything to put that to use anymore now, do we? We're not really fighting wars. We're not trying to chop down trees. We have a lot of automation. We have a lot of technology that's doing that. And these things that we, quote unquote, would excel at, we no longer have to do. And yeah, there's a lot of guys that excel at being in the workplace and stuff. But what if you're not one of those guys that excel in the workplace and you're like the rest of these guys, that just you're good at physicality, kind of in general? What do you end up having to do? Because all these manual labor jobs are kind of, they're dwindling out. Not completely, mind you. You still need plumbers, you still need carpenters, you still need construction workers, and all of those things are male dominated. And it's not like they have really big issues within that. They do that usually pretty well, as far as I can remember. But it's weird. Now a lot of us are sitting down in offices. A lot of us are gone into these types of smaller roles. And it's just like, is this why masculinity is kind of dying? Like, is this why we're having such an issue between males and females when it comes to relationships? going back to, and I'm going to jump back here. I know I'm pinballing around the place, but I'm going to jump back here to what I talked about arranged marriages before. You don't have that. The divorce rate in arranged marriages has never been said as high compared to like the divorce rate in like Christian marriages, which is supposed to be, Christianity is supposed to be like the huge, the union between man and woman that God created, and let what God has put together, no man can split apart type of thing. And there's like what was it, 49%, 50% divorce rate? Like it's big. And it's like, so hold up. People that are quote unquote being forced together, they're not being kept together, but they're being forced together in an arranged marriage, are better than two people that are coming together and then end up splitting apart. That doesn't make sense. If you're being forced, would that not have more tension? Would that not have more like headbutting? Would you not be a little more, issue between it? And some people are like, you know what, that's just because of the freedoms of the West, the freedoms of a lot of people that end up having the whole forced arranged marriages thing tends to be in the other parts of the world, not the Western world, where women don't have as many civil liberties or like freedoms or whatnot. There's a ton of reasons, but I'm just sitting here and I'm like, should we be doing this? Or is this like feminizing, or is it being unnecessarily effeminate? Because I consider myself to be a guy that's kind of in touch with his emotions. But one of the things, especially when I was reading those comments, one of the things was show more emotions. And I'm like, I think I'm pretty decently in touch with them. I can empathize really well, but I don't want to show all of my emotions. It's not even one of those things where it's like, I can't. I simply put, do not want to. I just don't. Sometimes I don't. And that can be for many reasons. For example, if someone has passed away, and I'm trying to go into, I'm working around the TR field, so long-term care and end-of-life care. I don't really want to go into that. And it's not because I can't show emotion, but it's because I still want to be able to feel that emotion. I don't want to chuck it away. And I have an issue with doing that, because when you are in that field, you kind of have to be able to put it behind you, because you have stuff that you got to do. And I'm not ready to do that. That being said, if someone dies, I don't want to be a wreck. I don't want to be a nervous wreck. I don't want to be, face ugly crying and all that, especially when I have a family, because I want to be that pillar for that family that's, you can cry on my shoulder and hold it down. Does that mean I don't have emotions? No. Does that mean that I don't have my own time to mourn? No. I don't know where people got this notion that men don't show any emotions at all. I feel that the correct message that was supposed to be taught, or if it has been twisted now, whichever, but the correct emotion that should be taught, that has been taught, that needs to be taught, sorry, not has been taught, that needs to be taught, is actually what was shown in Kingsmen, where you have I won't say what happens. Try and keep the movie spoilers if you haven't watched it already. I very much liked Kingsman. There were some parts that were extra, but was this tragic moment where Eggsy lost a whole bunch of crap, and Merlin goes up to him and he goes, "No, don't cry. We get this done. We finish what we need to finish. We do what we got to do, and then after all that, after we're safe and we're okay, then you can shed a single tear in private." And it's like, how you gonna tell the boy not to cry? But that's not, like, I feel like that's not the message that was said there. It kind of, to me, it was, as a man, you got crap you got to do. Create a time for you to mourn. Create a time for you to do that, but don't let that take over. Because you have stuff you need to do. You got to be able to stand strong. And I guess that's kind of the way that I feel it. Like, there is a time where I think that I should show emotion. But when I have stuff I got to do, when stuff needs to be done, I gotta be in control. I don't. One of the reasons why I don't drink. A lot of people, although one of the reasons why I don't drink is because I don't want to leave my own state of mind. I don't want to become manic or drunk in any sort of way, whether that is manic in depression, as in like a severe version of depression, or sadness, or even happiness, like elation. You can lose yourself in that too. Like you can lose yourself in anger. These are all different emotions that when you go too far with them, it's a problem. Like you become basically manic. Like it's too much. You don't think clearly, you don't do things clearly, you don't reason clearly, and I don't want that. And that's like one of the things that is that is the one of the main reasons why I don't drink. I've literally sat down and been like, yo, I wonder what I would be like drunk, and then remembered, Krenna, you're a little bit crazy and you're sober. Do you really want to see yourself drunk? Like, it's what could possibly happen? Like, bro, you jump off buildings and you sober. Like, it's a weird thing like that. And that's like, mind you, it also is biblical. Like that's in Proverbs, where it's just like, yo, keep yourself in sane mind. That's don't drink drunk. Keep yourself in sane mind. But that's why I do that. And I'm just like, so if I need to be able to feel, and I need to be able to control that feeling. Like I want to have that type of self-control. But that type of self-control, I don't want someone to force it out of me per se, nor do I want to have to use it because of someone else. Like I don't feel that because my girl is crying or because someone that's close to me is crying, I have to cry. No, I understand why you're crying. I understand this is a sad time and a sad moment, but I don't want to cry. I want to be able to get stuff done. I want to be able to, stand up tall, do what I need to do. And sometimes I feel that through a lot of the different things that people say, or sorry, not people, do some of the things that females tell men to do, we end up changing them in that sense. And it's not a good thing. And that goes both ways. I can't think of an example. Oh no. I can think of only a sexual example immediately for guys to girls, like, you should be able to wear like these types of things. You should be able to like drop it on me like that. Oh, you should be able to, wear these types of things or say these types of things or look this type of way. And those are all subtle, probably, that guys would say, which is probably why I didn't think of it immediately. Thinking back, I bet there's definitely things I've said to girls that they sat there and went, so I have to be that way in order for him to love me, type of thing. And, I apologize for that. That's not necessarily the way I want to live my life either. But I feel like there's a bunch of things that we're telling guys to do, and guys are just sitting there like, I don't feel like I need to do this, or I want to do this. And for those that don't, like, I'll try and give you another example. I also work in the gym, and one of the participants of the gym came up to me. Actually, I gotta go to that gym in a little bit. They came up to me and they were like, I'm not taking that stupid class anymore. Right? And I was like, well, what's wrong with the class? It was a dance class. It used to be a different class, but it changed to a dance class. And it was like, I hate it. I don't, like, it's not that I don't think it's fitness anymore, but I don't like it. And I immediately knew exactly what he was talking about, because if you go into many Zumba or dance fitness oriented classes, they're significantly oriented towards females. And what some people don't get is that shows up in the dance moves that you do, where you have these types of dance moves, and the immediate quote unquote reaction, I shouldn't say immediate, the stereotypical reaction to that is that, oh, guys aren't in touch. You need to be in touch with your feminine side, just get a little loose. It's okay. But at the same time, you have to also realize that sometimes people just don't want to. That's just not what they want to do. I don't particularly have a want to shake my bum. And I'm Afro. That's like, 88, there's a lot of Afro dances that have to do with like hip movement, like from your waist in general. Um, it's not even saying that I can't. I've had a lot of people that are like, yo, damn, this guy can, this guy, dang. But, I just don't want to. There's some things that we just don't want to do because that is just not who we are and what we want in our lives. And I think that some of these things are changing. Man, I have no specific evidence. This is just a thought process. But, it would be like, I literally, one of the things, especially that, like, listen more. I find that insanely, to be deadly serious, I find it unintelligent. It doesn't make sense to me. Why would you tell me a problem if you don't want me to solve it? Why would you talk about a problem and not have any intention of solving it? And the answer to that might just be, it's not a big deal, which is fine. Oh, okay, just be like, yo, let me tell you what happened at work today. Instead of, this happened and there's this problem and there's that problem, without kind of being like, this, I'm just venting. I'm just venting to you. Like, it's not anything serious, but like, let me tell you what happened. If someone come up to me and like, one of my girlfriends come up to me, for example, and they're like, yo, boy, let me tell you what Linda did today. Yo, this girl is so dumb. This girl did X, Y, Z, da, 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 da. And then she had the nerve to ask me about it later. Like, yo, it's not happening. I know Linda is a quote unquote issue, but I don't have to solve Linda. I don't really need to say anything. I just got to sit here and chill out and laugh. That's it. But if you come up and it's just like, it's really hard and I can't believe that this is happening, and just, she's doing everything and it's so difficult. And I wish that like she wouldn't be around anymore. I wish that she just did. Now my friend is in distress. I'm going into solve issue because I don't want her to be in distress anymore. That's my immediate like flip switch. And maybe those weren't the best examples, but that's the thought process. The other thought process was, simply put, communication. And this is, I love and hate this topic, because this is also something that came up a lot in the comments for the video, the comments for the status that they posted. And it was communicate. You need to know how to communicate properly. And then I sit here and go, so will you not also communicate when you want us to just listen compared to when you want us to solve a problem? So I don't know. I'm sitting here, I'm like, communication is key. Communication is key. Communication is key. I mean, if I properly communicate that I'm not going to do anything in this relationship, is that relationship going to happen? It's a little weird. Anywho, it is April 16th. It's a Tuesday. That's all for me, man.